It is official. The most highly anticipated central bankers gathering of 2025 and quite possibly the most pivotal moment in monetary policy history that took place last Friday with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell opening the door to what could be the most lucrative opportunity for the commodity markets in decades. Dubbed the Davos for central bankers, the Fed's annual Jackson Hole Economic Symposium once again, it lived up to expectations, whipping up an explosive money-making storm, presenting savvy commodity traders with a magnitude of highly lucrative opportunities to generate huge profits fast. Now, commodity prices, they skyrocketed across the board with everything from the metals to energies posting explosive gains. This, of course, after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell he confirmed that a September rate cut that is now firmly on the table. The reaction was immediate. The commodity market saw explosive gains following Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium, which we identified in our previous report as one of the biggest money-making events of the month that commodity traders will not want to miss out on. Gold rocketed to 3,375 US dollars per ounce, just shy of April's all-time record high of 3,500. Silver prices, they soared above $39 an ounce, moving within striking distance of 14-year highs, whilst WTI crude oil, platinum, palladium, copper prices, they all rallied towards multi-month highs. The bullish momentum also spilled over into agricultural benchmarks from coffee to soybeans, sending prices ripping higher as commodity traders they scrambled to position ahead of what many now believe will set the stage for the biggest commodity rally of 2025. Jerome Powell, he struck a markedly dovish tone in Wyoming, acknowledging that while tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, they could exacerbate inflation, the real risk now, it lies in a weakening US labor market. In the near term, risks to inflation, they're tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside. That carefully chosen language, that puts Jerome Powell squarely in the dovish camp on the Fed's rate-setting committee, and it signals support for a minimum quarter point cut at the upcoming September meeting. Commodity traders, they wasted no time pricing in the implications, with consensus building that a Fed pivot at this stage in the cycle, that could unleash the next big leg higher here for the commodity bull market. Powell's remarks, they were a wake-up call for those who expected a more hawkish tone. Instead, his dovish shift has been unmistakable, thrusting precious metals, especially gold and silver, back into the spotlight. In this environment, the yield curve is going to steepen, the US dollar is going to weaken, which will reignite demand for safe haven metals, which presents an ultra bullish macro backdrop for gold and silver, setting the stage for fresh multi-year and all-time record highs. This is an opportunity that no commodity trader wants to miss out on. For commodity traders, the setup is crystal clear. Lower interest rates, they weaken the dollar, which drives capital into hard assets and supercharges price momentum across safe haven metals. The asymmetry of risk reward, it is staggering. A single well-timed trade on gold or silver that could yield what used to take months, if not years, to achieve. Already this year, commodities, they have delivered double-digit gains, not in months, but in single weeks, and sometimes in a single day. Wall Street is unanimous. The second half of 2025 won't just be different, it will be remembered as the moment everything changed. Powell's pivot that has set off a once-in-a-generation commodities boom, unleashing what many are calling the greatest wealth transfer in history. All of this means one thing and one thing only. Gold and silver prices, they are heading in one direction from here, and that is, of course, much higher. The big question now is how high will gold and silver prices go over the course of this year? The answer to this question may come from the size of the Fed's rate cut in September and the future path of easing thereafter. There's no denying that the moment the Fed cuts rates, the entire landscape, that will shift. That single move will mark a historic turning point, breaking away from months of defiance and unleashing an explosive money-making storm across the whole commodity complex. That powerful bullish momentum that could pave the way for gold prices to break 4,000 US dollars per ounce and silver to hit 50 US dollars an ounce. With a September rate cut now seen as a done deal, the debate is now shifting to what the easing cycle will look like. According to our proprietary data, there is now a 75% probability that the Federal Reserve they will reduce its main rate by a quarter point cut when they meet in September. However, many of the world's most powerful Wall Street banks they are pricing in more reductions in the federal funds rate, with forecasts pointing to 3/4 point rate cuts this year at each of the Fed's upcoming policy meetings scheduled for September, October, and December. And just in case that wasn't enough, commodity traders are now on the cusp of being gifted with even more lucrative money-making opportunities as we head into the highly profitable event-driven period with a magnitude of back-to-back trading opportunities, which includes the final 4 employment reports of the year, the highly anticipated OPEC meeting, and inventory reports, alongside a series of market-moving central bank policy decisions, which could kick off the global race to cut interest rates at the sharpest pace since the global financial crisis in 2009, as well as an array of global inflation readings, all topped off with a continuation of President Trump's tariff shocks. Now, this cocktail of explosive events, it is going to be a license to print money and drive market sentiment over the next 128 days. In fact, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they have already begun preparing their clients for what they predict could be one of the most lucrative periods of the year. If you have been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the massive trading opportunities so far this year, but you still want to make 2025 your best ever, now is the time to take action. Citadel, which is one of the world's largest commodity trading firms, they have already made more than $4 billion profit from commodities, and we're only 3/4 of the way through this year. In fact, with everything that is currently playing out on the global macro stage, 2025 is setting up to be one of the Gold and Silver Club's biggest and most profitable years in our 15-year history. Our clients have already made in excess of 6, 7, 8-figure returns, and we're only in August. What we're seeing right now, it's nothing short of extraordinary, and it's times like these that make millionaires and billionaires out of regular people. Whatever long-term goal you are looking to achieve through trading, whether that is to create a full-time income, a second or replacement income, or just to earn a better return on your savings, now is the time to take action. Definitely do not underestimate what you can achieve in the next 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or even 12 months from now. Here at the Gold and Silver Club, we're consistently banking over 10,000 points profit per month, which we have transparently documented through our weekly videos. If you're trading at 1 lot, that's $100,000. If you're trading at 10 lots, that's $1 million. As you can see from our testimonials, the majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club are utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach. They have already made in excess of 6, 7, 8-figure returns, and we still have another 4 months left to go. If you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, but you do want to make 2025 your best ever, then go to jointhegoldandsilverclub.com now to learn how our mentorship program can take your trading to the next level. Time, it is the most valuable commodity that we all have. Make sure that you do not waste it. As a member, you get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You get access to real-time trade ideas, access to institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private Members Academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description. So just click on the link, make an application. We will get in touch ASAP.